Okay, so first a few tips on using multiple cameras. Remember to start all the cameras, make sure they are running, and then leave all the cameras running through the whole recording session. If you start and stop individual cameras to save battery life, for example, it makes it difficult to keep the footage synchronized with the other cameras because you will then have to insert blank frames in post-production to keep all the footage in sync. This is my fourth camera, a handheld GoPro that I use for detail shots in different angles. I clapped my hands after starting the cameras to help with synchronization. More on this later. GoPros record footage in 4 GB chunks called chapters. You might find that it helps to rename these files for ease of identification. Here are all my GoPro footage files or chapters imported to Final Cut. These are the chapter files from the front-facing camera. These files with the B prefix are from the rear-facing camera or the back camera. These are the chapters from the side-facing camera, and these are the ones from the handheld camera. The next step is to create compound clips out of the raw video chapter files from your cameras. If your camera creates one big file as it records footage, then it's not necessary to do this. To make a compound clip, select the files from one camera and drag them into your timeline. Now I'm going to trim off the beginning of each clip to the second hand clap. I'll do this with each of the compound clips to assist with synchronization. Okay, so here I've zoomed into the timeline, looking at the audio, and I'm setting the playhead at the second hand clap, and then trimming off everything before that point. Now zoom out on the timeline. If there are any global corrections that need to be applied to the chapter files, such as rotation, zoom, exposure, saturation, and so on, it's best to do it now, before creating the compound clips and the multicam clip. Select the chapters in the timeline, right-click, and then click New Compound Clip. Rename the clip if you want and click OK. Now delete the compound clip in the timeline and start on the next angle. Do this with each set of chapters for each camera, creating a compound clip for each camera or angle. When you create these compound clips, they're stored up here with the rest of your footage. So now I have a compound clip for each angle, front, side, handheld, and back facing, and I have trimmed each one to the second hand clap so that they will be easy to synchronize. Next, create a multicam clip. Select the compound clips, right-click, and select New Multicam Clip. Rename it if you want. I usually leave the angle assembly set to automatic and also angle clip ordering. For angle synchronization, there are several different options you can use. If you have trimmed the clips based on a common sound or visual signal picked up by all the cameras simultaneously as described previously, synchronize by Start of First Clip option. Using audio for synchronization usually works well too, as long as all the cameras pick up the same audio signal. Just check the Use Audio for Synchronization checkbox and set Angle Synchronization to Automatic. Look over the other settings, adjust if needed, and click OK. Now you have created a multicam clip, which is a composite clip that combines all of your different camera angles. Drag the multicam clip to the timeline. Now click on View, click on Angles. You should now see a thumbnail for each angle in your multicam clip. Under Settings, you can adjust how many angles are displayed from 2 to 16. You can also select whether timecode is displayed and how the angle name will be shown. Now for some audio settings. For this video, I want the sound to always come from the back camera, regardless of which camera the video is set to. To do this, click on the Video Plus Audio setting, which has the film strip and the sound icon together. Then click on the back angle. Now the video and audio is set to that camera. Now, click on the Video Only icon. This will allow video only switching while leaving the sound always coming from the back camera. See here, the audio is set to the back camera, while the video is set to the front camera. Now the video is set to the handheld camera, and now it's set to the side camera. If you want the sound to follow the camera angle, click on the option that allows video and audio switching. And with this setting, the audio will come from whichever camera angle is active. If there's a situation where you want to deviate from the automatic audio settings, this can be easily done by clicking on the problem clip in the timeline. Then in the inspector, click on the audio icon. At the bottom you will see each of the angles with a checkbox indicating which camera the audio is coming from. Here you can manually adjust which audio source is being used by checking or unchecking the boxes. You can also mix audio sources by checking 2 or more checkboxes. When you run the video with the angles displayed, you may find it is too much for your computer and it starts to bog down and drop frames, like mine does. If this happens, you can turn off angles and you will find that it runs a lot smoother. If you want to change the angle, just move the playhead on the timeline to where you want that to happen, and then just click on the angle you want. You can change angles while the video is playing just by clicking on the angle that you want to display. Another way to switch angles is to use the number keys on your keyboard. For this video, I would use the number keys 1 through 4, and the angle thumbnails don't need to be displayed on your screen. You just have to remember which number corresponds to which camera, and then switch between angles simply by pressing a number key. Here's a case where I have the angle set to the side camera, and instead I want it on the rear-facing camera. I change the angle by putting the playhead on the clip, and then hold Option, and then your cursor should change to a pointing hand. Now just click on the new angle you want displayed. Here's another way to change the angle of an existing clip. Just move the playhead to the beginning of the clip and then click on the desired angle. To move a cut point in the timeline, just drag it where you want. If you decide you don't want a transition, just highlight it and hit the backspace key. Okay, so now say that you want to insert a clip into the timeline. Just pick the point on the timeline, hold down the B key on your keyboard, and click on the timeline where you want the clip to go. Then just drag the clip to the timeline as you normally would. All your angles will stay in sync no matter how much cutting you do. Multi-cameras can make your video a lot more interesting to watch, as they add tons of editing options for a much better end product. The last 30 seconds of this video is an excerpt from one of my YouTube jet ski videos that I created with the help of Multicam clips. I'll leave a link to it at the end if you're interested in watching it.